Nerds, it's your boy Neebz, aka Watch with Neebz. I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka Jazz Struck.
Jazz truck.
Yes, yes. Oh, we know why. We know why. What's going on, Jazz? How you doing?
About that.
Yo, today I am in Nashville. I am here on a work trip, so I do not have my equipment with me. So I'm busting out some headphones and a little microphone. Hopefully the sound is pretty decent. But if not, guys, got to kind of bear with us. Hopefully,
Yeah, just this week. Just this week. I promise.
just this week.
Yeah, you don't sound that awful. You'd be all right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, we got to introduce our guest. Jav, you want to do the honors?
Sure. Today is a very special day because my boy Richard here, he and I go back to middle school. And so, having a friend that I've known for the better part of 20 years, come on, it's always a blessing. So, Richard, please give us more about yourself. And I see you have Longclaw with you.
I do. You don't spend $500 on something like this and not crank it out for a House of the Dragon podcast. So,
perfect.
My name is Richard Sepulveda. Like Mr. Ajaz has said, we've known each other for, I want to say since, 8th grade?
03, 02, something like that?
Yeah, 6th grade. I can't remember what class. I just remember you sat behind me in algebra.
Yep. That was 8th grade, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But that's when we got to chat the most. But it was, great times. I'm a self-proclaimed aficionado, but
no.
Plenty of people.
You are not self-proclaimed, sir. I will grant you that title because here's the thing, y'all. I have a test for anyone who wants to come on this podcast for Game of Thrones, right? To determine if they're a casual fan or a real fan. And when I asked Richard that question, I'm not going to spoil what question it is. He was able to give me not just the answer I was looking for, but the other answers that very hardcore fans know. So Richard is not just a self-proclaimed aficionado. No, he is a true aficionado, and he deserves that title.
Not casual.
No, I don't use that title lightly. He deserers it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I think we got to make him a regular on the show. We got to keep him on the roster, man. We got to make sure. Whenever we pull you off the bench, man, you got to be ready to go.
I'm always ready. Tuesday nights are pretty good for me. Mondays I play a D&D game that usually goes like kind of during this time. So Mondays don't work, but if you're ever hosting on a Tuesday and you need me to come on, shoot me a message. I'm usually up.
Sounds good, man. Almost all our shows are Tuesdays because we have to be in sync with The Bachelor. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, The Bachelor takes precedence because that is a big part of our fan base. It's strange. It's weird, but it's true.
Hey, man, you got to give the people what they want. I'm not.
We got to give the people what they want, man. We got to give the people what they want. So on Tuesdays, we do Bachelor content and we do what you call House of the Dragon. So we got you on for House of the Dragon. So let's get started, man. And this episode starts off in a really ominous way where we got Damon showing up with a cloak, looking old, creepy, not saying a damn word the entire time, and we finally get to meet his wife. So tell us a little bit about that. What's the backstory here? Because I heard this is like not a long line. There's not a lot of stuff going on here.
So he's mentioned obviously his lady wife as his bronze bitch. For those of you who don't know, she descends from House Royce, which we do actually see in the Game of Thrones series from Lord John Royce, but they don't even look anywhere sort of fashion. One thing I really did like is when you see her like right underneath like her breastplate, she's got like the runes of the First Men going on, which is really nice because House Royce descends from the First Men, and she's obviously kind of some of those First Men houses really don't care if you're a man or a woman. You're going to be a skilled hunter, rider. We see that with House Umber, House Stark, a lot of northern houses, but some of the houses in the Vale obviously do descend from the First Men. So she's definitely a huntress in her own right. But yeah, like you said, not a single word to her. And that moment where it clicks in her head when she's like, what are you gonna do? Kill that poor girl, to take your throne? And then like she kind of stops herself because she realizes that all he has to do is annul his own marriage, and then that's it.
Yo, but she's kind of had a tongue, man. She was not playing. She called him a sheep fucker. She called him she called him so many names.
she throws his words back in his face, which kind of insinuates that she's heard all of this like yap from him before, because he's mentioned in the small council that the sheep look better in the Vale, and she almost like word for word uses those same words back at him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really a sharp tongue on her end. She's just probably tired of hearing it from her informants and stuff like that.
That's a great point. I get that. And so what happens is, in the book, they don't really describe this entire scene. It's basically she falls off the horse and she is paralyzed for a while or in a coma, and then she
About
dies.
6-7 days.
Yeah, but the thing with the books is the books are not reliable narrators, right? They're basically a series of people who have told a story, and they may or may not be true. So the fact that they changed this and show what Damon actually did still doesn't like change the story. It still works, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's really good that it was written from the point of view of a few different maesters. I believe the first maester to pick up the story was Munkin. And he's going to be the one that takes over after, not to be spoiler or anything, because obviously the current maester is fairly old. But I believe he doesn't take over until I don't see him actually seeing any of these events go down. So he's just writing from secondhand events, which obviously is going to get lost in translation. You play telephone over a generation, and so many facts and figures are going to get distorted. So
he was in this episode. There was a shot of a dwarf in this scene in the wedding, and I don't know if that was him or just another dwarf.
I think you're referring to Mushroom. I was talking about Grand Maester Munkin. He's going to be one of the authors. He's one of the authors of the Dance of the Dragons.
See, he's an expert. He knows what he's talking about.
I actually have been brushing back up on Fire and Blood here recently. I haven't gotten back to the Dance of the Dragons yet, but I've been reading the histories. I'm right at like Jaehaerys. So right before any of these events unfold. So
I think
our resident Game of Thrones expert done.
I think we need to just give you an open invite to come on any episode whenever you are free, because this is awesome.
You might find me in the comments from time to time, just like pointing stuff out. You know, I might end up popping in like that.
Okay, yeah, man, definitely do it. All right, so he startles the horse, I believe, or did he push the horse or something? She falls off.
He grabs it and he startles it and then kind of assists in kind of throwing it over.
Throwing her off, right? And she's pretty much paralyzed. Mm-hmm. Do you think he was going to kill her anyways, or do you think that she egged him on and that made him do it?
He doesn't seem like the type foolish enough to leave that open-ended, and that being like kind of like a main route that she would go hunting. If she didn't return in a day or so, people would go looking for her. So it's not like she would like just like starve, or like wolves would come and get her. I mean, maybe the wolves would come and get her, but I definitely think that the egging on had something to do with it. Maybe he was planning on being more cruel and hoping that, you know, the wolves or bear would, you know, might come and get her. But I think it would have been really foolish on his end to not, clip that loose end, because he's a very calculated individual. He knows what he's doing, and he definitely knew how to make it look like an accident, which I find really funny, because this is also Bronn's plan whenever he's about to marry into House Stokeworth, and then Jaime comes by and ends that marriage. That way he can come help Jaime. But his plan is, because he's going to marry the younger sister of the inheritor, that he's going to basically claim that, yeah, pretty little ladies fall off their horses and snap their necks all the time. And so that's how Bronn was going to take power.
Was this a callback to that, or a call forward, I guess?
Yeah, it'd be a few years, but great minds think alike. And Bronn is obviously a calculated, he might be a up jump sellsword, but he's a smart individual, even though he don't talk so good.
It also brings up the point where when they go to the wedding later on, and he talked about his cousin comes through and talks to Damon about it. He goes, yeah, so I'm gonna have to come by and see about my inheritance, right? Which I thought was pretty interesting, because he doesn't really consummate the marriage. So is he entitled to that?
He has a right to put in a claim to it, and it's basically the judgment of the Lady of the Vale, which I forget her name, Lady Jaina or something, but it'd be like Jaina Aaron. So she's probably like I don't want to like Lady Regent in the area at the time. Her son's probably too young to be making any decisions or anything like that. But if that cousin wants to beat Daemon to the Vale, he better get started soon because it's hard to beat a dragon.
Yeah,
So
right.
if he gets out there first, he's going to beat him there. But we'll see what her decision is. I really did like the fact that Viserys is within earshot of that conversation because he has that suspicion of Daemon lusting for his throne, and it's not his daughter that he lusts, at least in Viserys' mind, even though we know that obviously Daemon really enjoys Rhaenyra, that he would be willing to kill his wife to inherit her claim or anything that she had. So in Viserys' mind, I think he avoided a bullet by not, or in his mind, he dodged a bullet by not allowing the marriage between Rhaenyra and Daemon, because Daemon is very capable of killing his own wife in order to take what she would be inheriting.
Daemon reminds me of Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like wild card. He could do anything. Wild card.
Yeah, no, he's if Charlie could read, yes, I would agree. Does that door say pirate? Pirate.
Oh man, I can totally see that. Poor Charlie couldn't read any of these names.
You see the meme of him like getting the little like letter, and he just looks at it and just doesn't know what he's looking at all.
Yeah, I want to see the meme with like Charlie. He's got the board. He's got all these like theories, and it's just Daemon going, "This is how I'm going to take the throne."
Yo, we gotta make this.
Yeah, that'd be a really good one.
Always Sunny in Westeros.
Oh, what do I do after this? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. I don't have my notes with me. So what happens after?
So right after we the scene in at Runestone, or I guess just outside of Runestone, it cuts over to Alicent catching up to her dad as he's getting ready to depart. On the horse landing after he's been dismissed.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that is going to set the precedence for the entire next season, right? Because he's leaving, and it's her fault because she
chose Rhaenyra over.
Yeah, she chose Rhaenyra over him. She believes Rhaenyra. Later on, she finds out a secret, and I guess it kind of changes the way she feels. But she didn't want to do this. But then her dad says, "Hey, listen, you have to do this to protect your children." And I feel like that put the idea in her. It's like, whoa, this is not just me. This is my children. I got to watch out and do what's best for them. I think that's going to set everything else that's going to happen afterwards. What do you think?
For sure. I would have But it wasn't just her. Like, I don't think this was a moment where she realized she has to do it to protect her kids. I think this is the moment she realized, I'm an adult. Oh, fuck. This is on me now. I had my dad before to guide me. No, I am alone, and I'm an adult now. Now I need to step up. So I don't think the idea came to her head now. I think she already knew. But now she realized she has to be the executioner for the idea.
Yeah, not her dad. She can't just let her dad. One thing that I really, at least as far as like in the Game of Thrones, when they release each season, there's about an hour of lore that goes on that's narrated by the cast with like little animations and stuff. They really paint Alicent out to be just this old, just conniving bitch of a person. And really, like from the get-go, you see that it's been Otto's engineering this whole time, and Otto's honestly like meant to almost sound like almost like this incompetent leader, when really he's been the engineer of everything as far as trying to get his grandson on the throne. And it's sad that the way that the histories remember it is that Alicent was the one. Now I'm sure going forward she probably will be, because she's the only one at court really pushing that agenda. However, it's always been Otto from the get-go, and Otto is not innocent from any of this. If anything, he's the instigator.
Yep. Call this from episode 1, because my theory was that Otto killed King Viserys' firstborn after Rhaenyra. You know that baby that died in episode 1?
Oh, Balon. Yes.
Yeah, my theory is that he had him killed there, and because that's what actually led to the whole thing of
sending Alicent
marrying King Viserys. So my theory is that we didn't see the baby. We never saw the baby. We didn't see anything.
No. You see the baby, and you even like you even hear him like crying, and then he says,
but then like you don't see him after.
Right, exactly. You don't see him die or anything like that.
Right. We know he's healthy, and then all of a sudden he's gone. So we don't know. It could have been anything. But I do agree about Allison. I feel like she has her Sansa Stark moment where she's like, okay, not a little girl anymore, right? She's got to put on her big girl pants, and yeah, I think she goes to work, and we can see that when she brings, she brings over Sir Kristen Cole and starts interrogating him. This motherfucker.
Drinking that dumb bitch juice the whole time. I mean, I could poke holes into his logic, but before we go there, so right outside the gates of King's Landing, we've seen it a few times. If they ever show it again, or you go and rewatch like episode 1, there's one Targaryen banner that's black, and it looks like fairly new. It's got the red sigil or whatever. There's another one on the other side to match it, but it's like a little more faded, and the sigil almost looks gold. And if you know what's coming, they've been teasing it since episode 1. And go take a look right as soon as Rhaenyra drops in on her dragon, and she takes the little cart and litter back into the gates of King's Landing. You're going to see that same gate with one on the left. From like if you're looking at the camera or looking through the screen, one on the left is going to be black and red, and the other one's going to be black and almost fading gold. Keep a lookout for that. I saw that my second time watching through the first episode, and I lost my shit just like you did. Because I was
my god, yeah, I'm losing my shit right now. Like,
Wait, I'm having a hard time following. What does this mean? Explain it.
Bro, spoil it.
Spoiler. Is it spoiler? Okay.
So as we know, when basically war was declared this episode with the blacks versus the greens, obviously her son Aegon, who's going to come up and eventually challenge Rhaenyra's throne. His dragon is said to be one of the most beautiful dragons that ever existed. It's called Sunfire. Yes. And that Sunfire is golden. And so for his personal sigil, he takes a black banner with a gold 3-headed dragon. So on that front of the gate, you'll see kind of the fading gold green dragon, because it's supposed to be red. It was never supposed to be gold, but since it's faded, it almost looks gold versus the black and red of Rhaenyra, which is a tease, obviously what has yet to come.
Ooh, interesting.
And this isn't exactly a spoiler, because I believe it was Game of Thrones where it was, who was the child who had the stone affliction?
She's actually even she's Baratheon. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, right. I'm drawing a blank too. Anyways, it was Sir Jorah Mormont who was talking to her.
Shireen, right?
Shireen, yes.
Yeah. So Mormont was talking to her, and he's like, "What are you reading?" And she's like, "Oh, this is a book
about Dance of the Dragons, a true telling of Mr. Munkin." Yeah,
and it was this exact thing: the battle between Rhaenyra Targaryen and Aegon. So yeah.
And then
exactly a spoiler. We know what's happening.
Even Joffrey spoils the very ending of it almost, but that's later on. Yeah. If you can go back, if you watch through all the Game of Thrones, you can find it. You deserve to be spoiled. So that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there are memes out there, and I saw that too. So I did catch that. Yeah. All right.
Well, this is a Shakespearean tragedy in and of a whole. So don't expect a happy ending for anybody.
But also we know there's unreliable narrators, right? So that is also maybe a little bit here and there. There's a little wiggle room in here. Maybe
absolutely, definitely wiggle room on like the how things happen, but the overall results, I believe, are going to be fairly accurate, because the Macers wouldn't get like the big overarching things wrong. They'd get the details wrong, but not the main stuff. So we'll see.
So let's go into the Bachelor, where she goes in and she picks her final guy. She picks Valerian. She goes there. So it's really interesting because me and Jazz are both Pakistani, and this very much felt like a rishta, which is where you meet the guy's parents, or the girl meets the guy's parents, and the guy meets the girl's parents, and they kind of like talk about setting you guys up, and then you get some alone time with the girl to kind of talk to her as they watch to the beach. This legit.
And this is usually the first time we're meeting. So like, this is like an arranged marriage kind of thing. This is the first time we're meeting. This is what happens.
This is literally an arranged marriage, the way they do it in Pakistan, India, and all these other countries. And it's really, really funny to see that. And I like the fact that, it's very reflected of our culture a little bit. So I thought that was kind of cool. I did like that. It was very interesting from 2 points of views. There was one of Rhaenyra where she's like, "Listen, we know you don't like Goose."
No.
No.
I did like the way that she put it though, like without straight up just coming out and calling him gay. She was able to kind of give him an out without like disrespecting him, because he would obviously be her future king. And she also knew that if I play my cards right, I'll get to have my cake and eat it too, which he tried to.
It kind of felt like it was the worst kept secret because everyone seemed to
kind of knew.
Yeah, well, see Renly, that was a terribly kept secret. You know, no one cared. But when you're the king or the king consort or the king's brother, no one says shit. So.
Yeah, no one cares.
That's fair.
If you can ride a dragon, you can do whatever you want in Westeros.
Yeah, up to the dragon.
But poor Viserys, man, was not in good condition.
Every episode, he just looks worse and worse. It's bad.
She shook his hand. Man had no fingers left. Like, bro, where are them digits at, bro? Where them at? They were all like, yo, bro.
They definitely say that the Iron Throne like spurns you, but he just, man, that thing is rejecting him hardcore.
No, man. I like the fact where they're like, yo, you want a chair? He's like, no, I got it. Like, no, I think you need a chair, man.
I'll take the chair. This one doesn't have knives on it.
Oh, man. Okay, so basically they negotiate the proposal, and then Rhaenyra also negotiates something. And now let's get into our incel homie, Kristen Cole, who took his vow of like, and then broke it.
Yeah, okay.
And now he's like, in order to restore my vow, we need to run away together.
Like, I need to break my Kingsguard vow and marry you. And this is what I don't get. This guy, so he's from the Dornish marches, and he's fought there before. So I get that he has seen Sunspear and seen the ships taking off and everything. He tried to act like like he had like expert knowledge, like he could smuggle himself in, like they wouldn't stick out like sore thumbs. And then, this woman has a dragon, and it's already precedence that you could just put another person on the back. If they really just wanted to take off, just get on the dragon and go. Who's going to stop you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But like,
no, listen, we got to steal a ship.
She's
Take
like,
a dragon.
She's like, how good do you think your dick is? And I'm going to leave the entire freaking nation and my dragon for you, homie. Get over yourself.
So you want me to be your whore? Yes. That's all you are.
Get over it. I'm the queen. What are you gonna do about it?
Oh my god, bro! What is wrong with you, man? You know, but I really do love that actor. You know, he's half Indian, right?
Is he really? I didn't see it. He definitely looks not Caucasian. Because they did even mention that at the tournament, the very first one, that he was Dornish, and Dornish is like Westeros's Middle Eastern more or less.
Dornish is like where they throw all the Indian, Middle Easterns, and Hispanics in like one group. Like everyone.
So all of us got it.
Pedro Pascal, yeah, it's all of us.
All the brown people are just in this like one little nugget.
Oh, for sure.
I love it.
That's so funny. I love it. But yeah, man, this guy, what is wrong with him though? What is wrong with him? That he's like, he thinks that she's gonna give up her throne, her birthright, everything just for him. No, she's like, listen, man, you're gonna be my little whore, my little boy toy, and that's the way it is. Yeah. And the other guy who was Joffrey, who was her betrothed, what do you call it? Paramore. He was okay with it too, but this motherfucker went on instigating for no reason. Like, what was his? I
think he felt safe, it being a wedding. And it would be a good time to just kind of lay the cards on the table. I saw what he was doing, but he definitely could have been a little more tactful with his words and everything. Yeah. And he didn't know how that Cole was mentally not well right there because of the rejection. To kind of trace back a little bit, the one thing that after he gives up the juice to Alicent, he asked for a merciful death. Like he just once he got rejected, he just wanted to die, like. And strangely enough, Joffrey Baratheon would also agree that a quick death is merciful, even though some of us might not. But him as a Kingsguard, yeah, he just wanted to die. He didn't want to be there anymore. He didn't see any reason for living. So that's why shortly after, punching his face in, he went to commit, seppuku and do the deed. But he, if Joffrey would have known his mental state at that time, I think he might have given it a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think Joffrey thought that, the secret's out, because obviously Rhaenyra said, hey, it's okay, do what you gotta do. And then obviously they talked about it, and then I think he assumed that
they came to an amicable decision,
right? But they didn't realize that it wasn't amicable, that this guy is just
he's crushed. He just wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back to Allison talking to him, because this motherfucker, nobody was talking about you. Like, what the fuck? He snitched on himself like a little bitch.
It happens.
Oh God,
I did it.
Could you imagine if she had let slip that her and Damon were messing around that night, and then he went over there? Dude would have just killed himself right then and there. There's no way. There's no way he mentally survives that one, because he was already ready to die. He would have just called it a day. That was one of the first things I thought, because I was like, oh, this is where he learns that she was, she's back and forth, she's dotting around, doing her thing. Hey, when you're future queen, you can do as you please. But I was waiting on that, and then he just snitches on himself, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. Oh,
I was like, oh, you idiot.
Yeah, for real, you idiot. You had one job.
You
couldn't do. Then you had 3 jobs, and you couldn't do any of them correctly.
You couldn't protect the queen. You couldn't keep it in your pants, and you couldn't keep a secret. Like, what the hell?
You had one.
Yeah, you're sworn to serve. So serve the D. You're sworn to keep their secrets. Boom. And he's especially her sworn shield. Like, that is her go-to guy.
You don't respond to the queen. You respond to Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
you failed all 3 jobs.
Failed every single of them. He's young. He's young, but I don't think he'll learn.
No. Oh no, I'm pretty sure
why.
Allison is gonna keep her as if I need to prove to get Aegon to become the heir, I need this guy alive, so he will be the actual witness to account for all of this.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is, if you ever need to hire a bodyguard or a babysitter, you make sure they're ugly, because that's how you make sure you don't get into this situation. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't let your 16-year-old daughter choose her probably 20-year-old babysitter, because it's probably not going to work out too well. Especially if that babysitter is going to be her babysitter till she's like 20, and then it's like, nope.
All right, let's get back to actual Game of Thrones.
Right.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention, they mentioned in last episode, they call Rhaenyra is known as the Realm's Delight. I don't know if y'all went over this.
Oh no, it did not occur to me. But oh my
Double
god,
entendre, obviously, because the Realm loves her like as a princess and everything,
right.
But she's obviously serving the pee out to quite a few, so she is the Realm's Delight. And I just bring that up because I don't think I heard that last week.
Are we talking about that right now or in the previews? Because in the previews,
in the previous episode, when they were at the play, before they started messing around, they mentioned Rhaenyra, Princess Rhaenyra, the Realm's Delight. And then I forgot in the books that, she's known as the Realm's Delight, but maybe
for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Uh-huh. She getting out there.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we got? So we talked
about...
Now
we go to the wedding now.
Well, one or two other things. Whenever the king
you got notes, I love it.
Yeah, when the king is laid out and he's talking to his new hand, Lord Strong, about that he really wishes that he would have been tested and whatever. I'm just reminded of the quote that easy times make soft men create hard times create strong men create easy times create soft men. And he after reigning after Jaehaerys and the easy times that Jaehaerys brought, with all of his peace and reforms and everything like that, he's on the downswing, and we're about to see a lot of strong people come out of it because he's ruled as a more or less an effective leader.
Yeah, I do like the fact that he did not give him like what he wanted to hear, because when he was like, do you think I would have made a good king and they would have made songs and stuff about me, and instead of saying yeah you would have, he says, you're better off not having that happen to you. You're better off being here in peacetime. So he's kind of like still gassing him up, but also saying, no man, I don't think you would have been able to do this.
Absolutely. Strong is obviously the ideal hand of the king, because when you think about Otto, obviously has plenty of his own intentions, and even Corlys, if he had been named hand of the king, he basically wanted the same thing that Otto did. Whenever he was trying to negotiate for what was the name that was going to be sitting on the Iron Throne, that dude reaches like no other, and he blatantly wants the exact same thing that Otto does. He wants his grandchild on the throne.
Yep.
So, there's just not a lot of subtlety with Corlys, but there's a lot of subtlety with Otto, and I think that's what creates a lot of mistrust between them.
Yeah. I thought that was a very interesting, way to compromise. Like, he's gonna be born, a
Valerian.
Yeah, but then once he ascends the throne, he becomes a Targaryen. I'm like, is that allowed? Whatever. Okay, cool.
Talk to the dragon. Talk
to the dragon. Right? Exactly. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Sounds like a fair deal to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about the wedding. Unless there's anything else that we haven't covered.
Other than the king or the hand's son being the new Littlefinger now.
Yeah. I think we'll get more into him a little bit later, but I do want to talk about the wedding, because the wedding is full of drama.
Bro, it's a Game of Thrones wedding.
Yeah, don't be Joffrey at a Game of Thrones wedding. It's just not going to end
well. 0 for 2 at Joffrey's at weddings, man.
0 for 2.
You're going to go through the history, see how many Joffreys there were and how they all died. Watch them all die from weddings.
Oh God. Well, fortunately, I know that's not the case, but they're not. They're down bad, down big.
Let's talk about some entrances, because there were some WWF type entrances at this wedding. People coming in with like, "Do you smell what the Valorians are cooking?" Because they just rolled up on there like they were royalty, like they were the shit, like amazing entrance. The other entrance that I thought was really cool was Allison coming in like Stone Cold Steve Austin and just like just came
oh my God. Yeah, that's she was so the reason they call the basically the factions that are going to be coming up, the blacks versus the blacks versus the greens, are because of, in the books for this wedding, there's supposed to be a tournament that takes place, and it's kind of around the same time that Daemon returns from the Stepstones, because they kind of muddled that timeline a little bit. And at that tournament, obviously here at the wedding, Rhaenyra's wearing white, as a bride should. But at that tournament, Allison's wearing that green gown, and Rhaenyra is wearing a black and red gown, and all of their supporters are wearing the same colors as basically the person that they're backing. So that's where we kind of get the reds versus the greens. So in this case, it looks like the tournament's canceled because they immediately just got them married. But they but the her walking in with that full green, like they said, it's almost a public declaration of war. You see how coldly she comes up and greets her stepdaughter.
Not only did she just do that, she interrupted the king's speech when they were doing that. Like that is one of the rudest things you can do, right? And just coming in green, she was publicly rebuking everything that's happening.
Yeah, it was a the Valerian's colors are like a seafoam blue, seafoam green, and then obviously Targaryen is red and black, and she came in as her own house, and basically almost like stepping in for her own father, because he was not there at the wedding, obviously felt slighted for losing his position. And then of course, the rest of the High Towers were there. But she basically said like, no, I'm riding this way now. And even at the wedding, you see like kind of some awkward glances between the king and queen, back and forth. They never even really make eye contact. They're just kind of like, just whatever, because like it's awkward as hell right now. There's definitely a lot of tension going on.
Yeah, like Damon comes in, everyone's quiet.
Damon doesn't even say a word. He just has that shit-eating grin and then takes his feet and puts his feet up, waiting for his drink.
I'm telling you, this is like some WWF shit. Everybody had like this grand entrance, and they're just so funny to me, and I just loved it. It was the acting in this is so good, and you get so invested into these characters, and it's really, really exciting. And Damon is no innocent in this wedding. Like when he goes up to Daenerys, he's like talking about taking it away. She's like, "Okay, do it. Kill all the guardsmen. Do it. I dare you." she has his numbers. Like she's the only one that can do it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, she knows what she can get away with him and what she can't, even though she would obviously know that he just murdered. Oh, then she did know that he had just annulled his marriage. So yeah, she does know how to press his button. She knows how to, and she knows what she can get away with when it comes to him, and that like she's one of the few people that he actually will not hurt.
Yeah. And then basically everything breaks loose and there's a fight, but we never see how the fight actually starts. All we know is that we see Kristen Cole beating the ever-loving shit out of Joffrey to the point where his face was mush. And the last time we saw something like that was when the Mountain
and the Viper.
Yeah, and the Viper, which I thought was really cool. Man's got some good punches, man. He got some good punches in.
So the not the CGI, but the effects were great. I will say the last few punches, like from like an acting standpoint, he was kind of just doing this, and somebody who was really pissed off would be leaning in with their whole body, dropping in. And I'm sure it's just, although instead of hitting him with his fist, his kind of cover for his
he had the metal
almost the knuckle. So he could just be hitting him with that, which would make more sense about breaking his face. So I'll let it slide without.
Well, we got an old friend here, man. Carlos is asking, did you paint that painting behind you?
No, I did not. Hey, Carlos. Yeah, no, that's the New Mexico. It's a bunch of like Cherokee Indians or some sort of Native Americans.
Cool, very cool, very cool. So let's go back to the wedding, and I wanted to know, what do you guys think started it? Do you think it was just them going back and forth, or maybe there's more? Do you think we'll ever find out, or this will be all we'll ever know?
I think it's all we'll ever know. I think he just follows him out after he like walks by. You see him kind of lift. You see Sir Kristen Cole lift his sword to like give him leave to go by, and then it stews in his brain for a minute, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to let that happen." And so he follows him out onto the dance floor and proceeds to.
Man, I think he may have grabbed something, and that's what really pissed him off.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah, I think he may have grabbed him in a way where he.
Yeah, well,
we don't really threw him for a loop.
We don't condone sexual assault out here, so if that's what
right.
That's what he did. I'm going to say that's a warranted murder right there.
Right, I think that's what happened because like he looks so uncomfortable and then just casually walks away, and then I think in his mind he's thinking, fuck these kings and queens. Fuck this whole thing.
Yeah.
I am not just a sexual plaything for them. Like I'm going. And that's when he started actually, he lost it and started beating him up. I think that's what happened. He may have grabbed his ass or something and then that really
I would like to do a little research because both Sir Kristen Cole and Sir Joffrey Lonmouth both come from the Stormlands. And so I would wonder if maybe their houses are rivaled. Potentially, so that might offset him a little bit, but definitely Sir Kristen comes from like a lower house and a lower branch of a lower house at that. So potentially, Joffrey could be lording it over him a little bit. I know that they hadn't met before that, so they didn't have any like previous animosity, but just still, how like we saw in episode 4, during the betrothal or whatever, how two houses that don't get along so well can just draw steel and go at each other. So that'd be interesting to look at. I'll do my homework and see if I can find
it. Resident Game of Thrones expert. I love it.
So something you said kind of made me rethink some of the stuff that I was saying before. Because I was making fun of our incel homie Kristen Cole and how he's doing all this stuff. But then I'm thinking like, if he was a woman And then when you guys started talking about sexual assault and all that stuff, I was like, we would kind of be on his side, right? Because look at the power dynamic between Rhaenyra and him. And, obviously he infatuated her with her, but also she has all this power over him, kind of used him.
She's her employer.
Yes, she's
straight up. She is the boss here. Like, this is some workplace shit here.
Yeah, but then you got Alicent using him for games, and then you got this other King Joffrey guy, probably who sexually assaulted her, and also making these kind of mind games with him. And he flipped out. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking my stance here. I kind of feel bad for him now. Now I'm really feeling bad.
No, I get why.
I feel bad for him in general because but it doesn't mean he wasn't drinking dumb bitch juice because he does.
That's true.
Both can be true at the same time, and I believe both are. He definitely is a victim of what's going on, in the whole power dynamic.
I believe the word that Joffrey used was "cumstruck."
Yes.
Which is where Jazz got his name this week.
I was like, oh, I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
I'm gonna. I wish I could use that in public, but you just can't. So hold my tongue.
Listen, before we go, I think we're at our limit. But is there anything else we want to cover before we go? Anything else we didn't talk about? I think we covered everything we wanted to, man. Dude, this was a great episode. You have so much knowledge. We definitely have to have you back. I can't wait to have you back. We might just give you a open invite so you can just hop on whenever.
Yeah, like every Tuesday night, man. Like we're gonna do Game of Thrones. I'll send you the invite and the calendar thing.
Yeah,
feel free to come on whenever.
5 or 10 or so, and
always.
Sure,
absolutely.
It's a pleasure. Can't wait to come back.
We just got to make sure we get girls on the show too. We don't want too much.
You need the woman.
We need it to balance out. Because
we have a rule, like we can't have 2 guys in a row. We have to have a woman at some point. So yeah.
No worries there.
Just to keep us honest, man. We can't turn into Andrew Tates. That's the goal.
Oh, there you go. Personal accountability. I like it.
Exactly. Also amazing points. We had JJ who came on last week, and
she's very knowledgeable. I was highly impressed with her.
Like I said, I want to see him and JJ go on together and just like talk it out. We'd sit back and watch like
season finale. I'll be ready.
We wouldn't even have to do a show. We can just give them the episode and take off.
Right. It'd be so great.
Yes. Yes. Make daddy some money.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate you, man, and we'll definitely have you back. And where can people find you? Do you want people to find you? Some people do, some people don't. It's up to you.
No, not particularly. I like my social media fairly private. I mean, Facebook is fine. You can Richard Sepulveda if you really feel like it, but my other social medias I keep close to the chest. So.
Nah, and leave our man alone right here. He doesn't need that. But send him good vibes. So we tell whenever people say they don't want to be followed, we tell them to either send them prayers or send them good vibes. So send my man some good vibes.
Good vibes, please.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you, Richard.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
much
for
joining
everybody. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.
Peace.